So now we're going to come over to the pressure washer and we're going to push in a little bit on this and then release. Pop that off. How's it going, everyone? All right, so I needed a kind of a short extension hose, something around 25 feet, just to extend off of a connector I have coming from my hose bib. And I went to Home Depot to see what they had, and the selection was terrible. So I decided to buy this and give it a try. So I went with this one because it is a 5/8 hose and it is 50 feet, a little longer than what I need it for, but I figured I'd give it a try because it's one of those like fold up style hoses and it comes with this little carrying strap here as well. A couple things to kind of keep in mind. I was actually coming from a really large hose that I purchased a little while ago. This was a 3/4 inch hose that was 75 feet long, which is way too long and way too heavy for me to be lugging around. At this time, I don't have one of those hose reels where I can reel it up. So I wanted something that was a little easier for me to disconnect and move around to use for my pressure washer setup and to use as just a basic hose. All right, so we're gonna unbox this one here really quick and then get the fittings and stuff added on here and then test it out and see if it can hold up. So we're going to throw a little Teflon tape on the fittings here and then get these added in or fastened on rather. All right, so I grabbed one of my hose nozzles and we're going to go and connect the other end of this to the connection by the hose bib and not power it on, but I guess you could say juice it up or just turn it on. All right, so one thing to notice here when you first unroll it, this is kind of what it's going to look like. So it's going to unroll itself like this. So I imagine when I turn this on, it will straighten itself out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get these connections connected here. So in just a moment. All right, so it is twisting itself up. It has kinked here. So let's try to straighten this out. You're gonna have these quick disconnects here from Prevost. This allows me to disconnect it from here and then connect it right to my pressure washer, pull it back off, vice versa, so it makes it a lot easier. We're going to disconnect it from the nozzle here and then connect it to the pressure washer here. All right, so we're gonna see how well this goes. These things, when they're pressurized, they are pretty hard to come off, so you kind of have to push this way on the nozzle to help release that. So just be aware of that if you ever purchase these fittings here. All right. So disconnect it. This is still pressurized. And this thing is actually pretty flexible, which is kind of nice. So I'm hoping these fittings actually hold up well. So now I'm going to plug it into here. We're gonna move over to the car because I'm gonna foam it up here with the PF22 and some Koch Chemie GSF. So now we're gonna come over to the pressure washer and we're gonna push in a little bit on this and then release. Pop that off. Again, this is still pressurized. And then we're gonna pop our nozzle on. So we're gonna push down a little bit, get that in there. That's locked on. So now we can move over to the car and rinse the car off. All right, so just some final thoughts on this particular hose. This thing has been pretty good. It's really flexible. It hasn't kinked on me yet. It hasn't come apart at the hose end yet, which is a plus because, as I mentioned before, I've had a couple of other ones that actually did do that. And Again, these Prevost fittings, I love these. I can go back and forth between using this nozzle and actually going to the pressure washer and connecting that. Haven't had any issues, so the next thing I'm gonna do is actually do a drain out, and then I'm going to roll it up into its carrying case and see how well it maneuvers that way, because that was the other benefit to actually using this or buying this, was its ease of use to disconnect, roll up, and store. So we're going to test that out here in just a moment. But other than that, the build quality is really nice. Has a nice soft rubber texture on the outside, and the fittings are made of this aluminum type material. So we'll see how well these hold up, and then I'll do an extended review and give some updates. All right, so after I did the drain out, it does kind of collapse back down into its, original flat form. So, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna disconnect this hose nozzle here. All right, so now we're gonna see how easy it is for this thing to fold back up. So I don't know if I'm just gonna wrap it around or try to fold it in like that, but let's see what's gonna be the easiest way to kind of do this. And imagine that shouldn't hurt it if I just wrap it around like this. I mean, this thing is pretty light, so it barely weighs anything, which is great. A little bit of water in there still. Let that drain out there. All right, so take that, and then I'm just gonna really just try to fold this over and see if that works. Okay, so it's not necessarily perfect, but I guess to help carry it. But I mean, it doesn't fully wrap up, like a regular hose would, but I'm not complaining because storing this thing should be fairly easy. I can stick my fittings back in here, and if I have a hook in the garage here, in the storage room here, which I do, I can just hook that right on there, and then that's my hose. I don't have to worry about leaving it out here and risk somebody walking away with it, or an animal chewing on it, or something else happening to it. So that's actually pretty cool. So it wraps up fairly easy. Has a little handle thing on it. Now this is, again, kind of gimmicky, but it works. So far, so good. The hose has held up this initial use, so I'll continue to use this and then give some future updates of how well it held up. The biggest thing for me is how well the ends hold up. I'm not using this for construction or commercial grade duties or anything like that. I'm using this at home. And again, I did pick this up at Home Depot. At the time of the recording of this video, it was about $42 or $43. That is subject to change, so please take that with a grain of salt depending on when you watch this video. But I think it's a pretty good buy for now. I'll do a long-term test again coming up in a little while and see how well this holds up, if that $42-ish is actually worth the cost of this. And again, this was a impulsive kind of purchase. I was actually going there to pick up a, I want to say it's Gilmore 25-foot hose. That came highly recommended off some YouTube videos. So this thing here was just happened to, sorry about that. This thing here just happened to catch my eye, so I picked it up and decided to try it out. So again, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave those below. And if you have any suggestions for any other videos, don't forget to comment below as well. And thank you for watching. Catch you in the next video.